Hello, I am roaringbug, and welcome to my Sims 4 speed build. Today I am making a build called Victorian Base Game House. This Victorian house is entirely made with base game only, so if you want to download it and you only have the base game, it should be perfectly fine and functional as is. This house was loosely based on a picture I saw on Pinterest of a model of a Victorian house. It was a plain white model of a Victorian home, and what appealed to me is that it had very tall and narrow, steep roofing. So as you can see here, I'm just opening up my cheats and laying down the basic structure of the Victorian house. So right now I'm adding this platform on all of these like edges, just so I can add a little bit of a trim on all like these exterior flat surfaces on the house. So it took me quite a while to build this house. I think it took me about 3 hours, and I whittled it down to 20 minutes. So I hope you enjoy this speed through of this house. It's basically a lot of indecision and scrolling through the catalog that makes building the house take such a long time. There is a mod for you to go through the catalog a lot easier. I think there's like a better catalog mod. There's also the tool mod for those who strictly like to just build in The Sims. And the mod just allows you to rotate and resize any object to any size that you want. Like if, let's say, for example, you had a rug and you want a rug to fit exactly a space, you could just do some math with the tool mod and just resize it. I've also seen people like make their own custom items just with debug items. Like if they wanted like a fancy fence, or if they wanted to build their own, I don't know, canopy bed, they could just with debug items. And a lot of the stress in building a home in The Sims is it's mainly trying to figure out roofing. As you can see here, I'm doing, well, I wouldn't say complicated roofing, but there's a lot more roofing than you would do in a normal house. And I think that's kind of the appeal of doing Victorian houses. And that's the challenge of doing the roofing of a Victorian home. I like Victorian homes, you know, they look very interesting. This particular build is a pretty large build. I believe it ends up being like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. I didn't put anything on the 3rd floor. I guess you could use it as another bedroom if you needed, or you could use it as a skill building room. If you need it for like, I don't know, like a microscope or a cupcake machine. Those items in the game take up like 6 tiles. So you're gonna need a lot of space for them. So as you can see here, there's quite the steep roofing in front of the house, which I thought looked pretty good. And of course, the house that I based this on, off that picture of a model, I only had a front image of it, so I'm kind of winging it and guessing and just filling in what the rest of the house looks like. Just by how and trial by error, just trying to figure it out. So yeah, I made a wraparound porch, and I'm using these base game pointed windows, which I think look really good. There was a lot of back and forth that I'd done, but you know, through the power of editing, I have edited out all of my struggles. So yeah, I'm just putting down the roofing. Eventually that little bump out next to the tower will be filled with windows like a sunroom. But it's not going to be a sunroom. That will actually end up being the location of the kitchen. So yeah, just, you know, adding some windows. Normally, when you do a build, you would probably want to do the windows last because you need to figure out how to map out the interior, and the interior may not always line up with the windows. But I did them symmetrically just because I wanted the outside of this house to look really good. So yeah, as you can see here, I turned that into a sunroom. It wasn't exactly perfect for the windows, so I just added some single tile tall windows. And right now I'm just putting down some staircases around the porch. And if you delete the underside of the stair, it'll actually make them a little cheaper. But I didn't really think about a budget when I made this house. As you can see on the lower left-hand corner, it has a little infinity sign for the money, and that's because nobody lives on this lot. And if you have a lot, and let's say you go to the main menu and you just pick a lot, and you can like go through the world map and do a build, even if a sim does live there, and what you will have is an unlimited budget. Or you could use cheats and just give yourself as much simoleons as you need. So yeah, I put these windows on the 3rd floor. I mean, granted, there's a lot of windows on this Victorian home, but I think it looks good. You know, if anyone should think it looks good, it should be me, because I made it. And I put this little window on the top of the tower just because it was there on my inspirational picture. And yeah, I think that's it for the exterior. I think what ends up happening is I put like a bump out on the 3rd floor. Alright, so now I moved into the interior, and I moved that section of the tower over so you can access it, because I realized you can't access it on the 2nd floor. So I just moved it out so I can add a door. And I'm just fiddling out with some roof pieces. And I put a little topper there. That's the best I can do with base game. That little topper, I think, really belongs in Oasis Springs, in that Spanish-inspired desert world. But you know, it's the only topper I had. Sometimes when I'm doing base game and I want to make a topper, I'll just use the chicken sculpture and use as a topper. But it's a little farmhousey, and you know, I just wanted this house to look really proper. Oh, that little room I kept putting there and getting rid of eventually. That was supposed to be a bathroom. But I decided to make the tower into a bathroom. So yeah, the tower basically just has bathrooms. So now I'm just putting down doors and just trying to figure out this stairway. I put a large open stairway on the 2nd floor, you know, to give it that sense of grandeur. And yeah, this is that bump out I was talking about. So that's the bump out on the 3rd floor. I put that there because I wanted to move the stairway one tile in. Yeah, you see, I just moved it one tile in, just so I can have the symmetry on the 2nd floor for the stairway. And now I'm just mapping out the interior. So the 2nd floor is just going to be bedrooms. It ends up being 4 small bedrooms. The Victorian style houses don't really have grand bedrooms anyway, so I mean, I down the road you'll see in my video that I make the floor plan a little bigger. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I made the house 1 tile bigger. And I lost all my windows on the 3rd floor, so I had to put them in the right spot again and delete them. I don't know why they wouldn't carry over. I guess they're like, it shows that it's connected to the roof and not to the wall. And that's because there is no wall, because it doesn't read it as a wall. Because you can see here, it's just a tall, flat room. So all those like roof trims don't really register on a wall. So it's only connecting to the roof piece. And yeah, I'm just putting these little decorations there just to make it look a little more interesting. So I put those large windows there because I really thought I was going to put a kitchen there. But I ended up not putting a kitchen there. So yeah, as I move this one tile bigger, I have to move everything one tile over. Yeah, it's kind of like a weird boot room. But I think it looks okay. And yeah, I put that fireplace down and I realized it wasn't symmetrical, so I made it into a 2-tile space for the fireplace, which I think looks pretty good. And now I'm using half walls to make this little edging for the fireplace, the chimney I mean. And yeah, I'm putting the kitchen in this sunroom area, which is nice. I mean, if you're doing fine dining, it's nice to have a view. So I put that large table down and these chairs. That's more or less what goes there. And now I'm just putting down doors, and then I was like, yeah, I might as well put down all the doors. And another fireplace in the hall. Because your Sims get a positive mood buff if they happen to own a fireplace. And the only reason why I keep a fireplace is if you do gameplay, Father Winter will only visit your house if you have a fireplace. And you can ask him for a present. So yeah, I'm just using the most fanciest floorboard to use on this really fancy house. Because I didn't really think about like budget. I just thought, hey, I just want to make a really fancy base game house. So yeah, just throwing on some wallpaper now. I didn't use too much in the way of colors. I just kept it very neutral. And yeah, just doing that little boot room. And because that stairway is open, I use these wall sconces instead. Typically what you would see in a stairway is probably like a grand chandelier, but all the grand chandeliers are not in base game. The fanciest chandelier, as you can see, is only like this design in this room. And yeah, this room here is going to be the living room, and it's going to double up as a skill building room. So I put the TV over the fireplace with a computer, a bookshelf, and a couple of skill building items like a chess table, an easel, and a piano, which ends up on the other wall. There you go. And I end up putting some artwork, not too much, just a little bit. And I realized it wasn't centered, so I had to use the Alt key on my keyboard and move it manually. And now I'm just putting down rugs. I don't really have a rhyme or reason when I build. I just... because so much is tied with the catalog, you know, because you just gotta scroll all the time. I jump forward in time with that second bathroom because it looks exactly like the downstairs bathroom. And now I'm just adding some lights, and I am probably gonna finish up doing the second floor now. So like I said, the second floor is just bedrooms. So the bedroom with the palm leaves in gray, I consider that the primary bedroom. And I put a child's bedroom and a toddler's bedroom. And I put an extra double bedroom, a double bed, in case you have like an older teen or maybe grandparents, if you're doing a multi-generation gameplay. I used to do traditional family gameplay, and my Sims did have grandparents. So, you know, it's nice, you know, the grandparents should have a bedroom as well. So yeah, I'd like to think the fancier bedroom is the primary bedroom. So there's nothing really spectacular, just normal bedroom decor. And now I'm adding a dresser, which now that I think about it, besides the toddler's room, I don't think I put a dresser in the other two bedrooms. Because I didn't have enough space. Because if you have too many things in a room, your Sims won't be able to navigate. I once did a gameplay where I accidentally had a Sim that was hired as a nanny. He perished behind a toddler potty because I didn't know that he could navigate around it, and I just knew he died because the Grim Reaper came to the house. So yeah, be careful. Don't overclutter. So yeah, I'm now on the 3rd floor, and the 3rd floor, like I said, doesn't really have much. I just filled it with some debug items of some crates. You'll see that later on. I think that's the last thing I do. And I thought, hey, this roof looks kind of bald. I'm gonna add a roof on it. So I just put that there. And this lot is in the Realm of Magic. It's the lot for the house that doesn't have a door, but it has a stairway. So I bulldozed that house and I put this house there instead. So yeah, this house is in the Realm of Magic. Just because it has that nice, like, foresty look to it, which I think looks really cool. And yeah, this is a debug fence, and these are all debug trees. These are all basically debug items that I decorate this space in. I put a big old tree on that angular cutout in the yard. So they have a lot of yard space. If you wanted, you can probably get rid of some items if you need to, I don't know, put down a rocket ship or something. So yeah, just, you know, doing some nice little sparse decoration. I had such a hard time doing the front of the house, but I just kept it really simple. I just put down some hedges. But I cut out my endless scrolling through the catalog just to find those bushes. So yeah, now I'm just doing this outdoor space in the front and in the backyard, sorry. And oh yeah, if you do the key, what is it? Ctrl 9 key, you can get just angular tiles. So that's what I did in order to do that tile work in the backyard. And, you know, I feel like a backyard isn't anything unless it's got a barbecue and a swimming pool. And I put this monkey bar jungle gym for the kitties in the back. And it's in front of the sunroom, which is the kitchen. So I think that's a good space. You know, like you could just imagine it, like your kids out there on a play set and you can see them just right out the kitchen window. So yeah, now I'm just doing some landscaping and just, just the terrain paint. I keep it light. I don't really go too heavy doing my terrain paint. I basically use the same method when I do my terrain paint for all of my builds. And I put a little fountain. And I found this bush and I was like, oh great, I'm gonna size that up and put it there. So sizing up items is just, you know, more things you can do with just key commands on your keyboard. And these are the crates that I put on the 3rd floor. You know, just to say arguably like, hey, this is just their storage space. And yeah, I think that's about it when it comes to decor. And now these are my screenshots. So if you like my build, you can download it off the gallery at roaringbug. Please like, leave me a comment, subscribe, do all those good things. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.